What is going on, Pats Nation? You guys already know who it is. Patriots Global here back with another video. And in this one, we're going to continue our draft prospect videos here. The New England Patriots on day 2 made a total of 2 moves. Surprisingly, they did not trade up. The last 4 years in a row, they've traded up in the first round. I thought it was pretty much solidified with us having 4 fourth-round picks and picking one up yesterday to make it 4 fourth-round picks that they were going to trade up, and they didn't. I thought, okay, trade back into the second. No. Okay, how about the third? No, they didn't do it. So to me today, that was the biggest surprise. They didn't trade back in and they did not trade up at all. They just stayed pat. And that was very surprising to me, which means that tomorrow is going to be a big day for the Patriots. 4 6th-round picks, 4 4th-round picks, a 7th-round pick. It's going to be a busy, busy, busy day tomorrow. And I'm very excited to see what the Patriots are going to do because it seems like tomorrow is going to be the bulk of what they do. But of course, without further ado, let's roll that Patriots Global intro and talk about some prospects. Now, guys, I know it looks a little bit different. I'm not exactly in my same kind of setup that I usually am. I'm in the studio. I'm just not in the same setup. And that's because we went to a live today again for a last minute draft party that I wasn't expecting to do, but ultimately said, why not? We ended up doing it. A pretty great turnout for the fact that we did last minute. So I really appreciate it. Again, everybody that was there today chilling with us for over 3 hours. Really, really appreciate it, guys. And just having move my equipment, hopped off once the draft was done, and ultimately wanted to start this here for you guys. But Patriots first pick here, second round, 46th pick overall. They make a surprising move. If you guys were in the live stream, you would know we all thought it was a surprising move. Edge rusher Keion White out of Georgia Tech was the pick for the New England Patriots. Now, to me, edge rusher wasn't necessarily a surprise here, okay? And that's my big thing is that my kind of feelings towards this pick wasn't why did they go edge? Because I understand the idea of going edge straight off the bat. And I think that this pick likely tells us that Josh Uche more than likely is going to be out. And that isn't to say that it's 100% because I do think that there is a world in which Josh Uche does stay for the Patriots, and I will get into why in a little bit. But nonetheless, edge rusher was a top need for the Patriots. Was it the first? Was it the second? No, I'd probably say it was third or fourth biggest need for them. But with the team that is starting to value the defensive line and these guys playing in the trenches a whole lot more than I think we've seen in the past, solidifying this defensive line, especially after solidifying this secondary, was definitely a good move for the Patriots. Even when it comes to injury, even when it comes to depth, the Patriots did need that. Josh Uche probably leaving. You have um, um, Matthew Judon, excuse me, who, yeah, he is still signed for another 2 years, but once he's done here, are you going to resign him or not? He's going to be in his 30s. That contract's already halfway up. Edge rusher does make sense. Now, it also does make sense that maybe the Patriots said, well, we'd like to go edge maybe in round 3, but we have to go edge here because guys are flying off the board. Let me tell you, I was not expecting defensive linemen to fly off the board the way that they have the first 2 days from rounds 1 to 3. Guys have been surprising us, or teams have been surprising us, taking guys that were much later round projections, and these guys have been flying off the boards more than wide receivers, flying off the boards more than offensive linemen. This has been insane, and it's been the name of the game. So it makes sense that the Patriots said, we got to take our guy now. Now, Keion White, to me, just doesn't exactly fit the bill on what the Patriots do when it comes to defensive line, and that's what surprised me. Heading into the draft kind of process and heading into the draft, I said the Patriots are going to go edge. They're going to go with a guy from a big end school because the Patriots like taking edge rushers from a higher end school because they want to know that when you make that transition from college to the NFL, that you're going to be able to go up against top end competition, right? That's what we've seen the last several years. They either want to get a proven veteran in the NFL, they want to go and draft a guy from a higher end school. Obviously, Keion White from Georgia Tech doesn't exactly fit that bill. Now I said, okay, maybe he has a lot of experience, and that is a reason that they really like him. But experience doesn't really have a whole lot of that either. His college tenure was 2 years, only 2 years. And that first year in 2021, he only played in 4 games. So he only has played in a total of 6 games. I know that he did transfer, of course, played at a couple different colleges here. But just kind of the experience level surprised me that the Patriots didn't go with a guy with a little bit more experience. Not to mention the fact that he's a little bit older. And that's kind of my thing here is I think that there's a lot of traits for Keion White to be very good. And if they kind of sat back, got a guy from Georgia Tech who hasn't played a whole lot, but has these developmental traits, I would say, you know what? I understand it. But he's 24 years old. By the time his contract is up, he's going to be 28 years old already, just coming off of his rookie contract and already with not a lot of experience. Again, just a move that surprised me. It was an underwhelming move in my opinion. I know a lot of people really like it, and I don't hate it. I don't hate it by any means. I think there's a lot of potential here for sure, but it isn't a sexy pick. It did not have me jumping out of my seat. This isn't, a guy that I was necessarily thinking they should pick here. I was also hoping the Patriots were going to go offense with their first pick today, and they didn't. They didn't go offense at all today. And I don't like that. I think you got to build around this offense a little bit more. You got to get Mac a couple more pieces. I understand solidifying our defense, but after getting Christian Gonzalez, I felt very comfortable, at least for 2023 for the Patriots defense, 100% offense where you have some concerns. And so far, we've done nothing really to address that. But a little bit here about Keion White. This dude is an absolute monster at 6'5", 285 pounds. This guy is one of, if not the biggest athletic freaks when it comes to the defensive line. The Patriots seem to really like to roll with that characteristic of rolling with guys who are very, very athletic. This guy's going to have a high motor, and he's going to play all over your defensive line. I feel like those characteristics are what the Patriots are rolling with this year. Guys who are athletic and guys who show versatility. Now, I did hear when doing my due diligence on this guy was Evan Lazar actually kind of tweeted out here from the Patriots. And he said that when he was doing his due diligence on him in the pre-draft process, he thought that Keion White was actually better as an interior defensive lineman than as an edge rusher. And I thought to myself, and I said, okay, well, this probably puts out guys like Moro Ajomo, interior defensive lineman, which I really liked. But I also said, I thought the Patriots targeting a interior defensive lineman fairly high was actually very realistic, especially a guy who can be an interior pass rusher for the Patriots. Now, obviously, he's going to be undersized if he does play inside mainly, but he does still have that versatility to be able to do so. A guy that screams that same versatility and position that's currently on the Patriots is Dietrich Wiseau. So I kind of stepped back and said, was this really needed? But at the same time, a guy that can play all over the defensive line. He can play in a 4-3. He can play in a 3-4. Patriots, I think, right now are more of a 4-3. But if they did switch back to a 3-4, which they've done before, he can be an outside linebacker, which, again, just gets him on the field. This guy's so versatile that doesn't matter what scheme you're in, you're going to find a role for this guy. And that's the exact same thing that happened with Christian Gonzalez, which is what I said. I don't see how teams didn't select him earlier because he's so versatile that in any scheme, he's going to pan out well. He's going to have a role for your team. So at least we know Keion White, no matter what the Patriots do going forward, is going to fit. But I do think that Keion White is a little bit more of a run stopper than he is in terms of pass rush. And this is something that I've heard a lot of other people also agree with. In terms of his grades, his run defensive grade was a 78.7 this past year with a pass rush grade of 75.8. He had a pass rush win rate of 20.1%, which is very, very good and well above average for those who don't know, and a run stop rate of 7.1. Run stopping rate, not crazy above average, but it is still well above average. So that's something to keep a track of too. And that is something that I did tell you guys in terms of edge rushers too, is that the Patriots, they're not going to go with one of these guys like a Lucas Van Ness, who is strictly going to get to the quarterback, and that's it. They're not going to be able to stop the run. They're going to be really a third down a defensive lineman with not a whole lot of versatility. Keion White has the ability to be an every down defensive player. And he's a guy too that I think when it comes to going up against these quarterbacks who are more mobile and being able to contain the edge, Keon White very much will be able to do that for the Patriots. And I think that that's been very important and something that Josh Uche does still struggle with. Now, in terms of some things that I do like about him, like I said, very athletic. He also gets off the line very quick. Like this guy brings a lot of speed, and for his size, you don't hear much of it. I feel like a lot of times we hear about the Patriots going with more power type of defensive lineman. Here they went with more of a speed defensive lineman. Like I said, versatile is probably one of the best things about him. Um, and kind of just some of the bigger concerns are going to be more so him and his pass rush a little bit. He's a little bit more of a project. That's something that I also mentioned earlier. Also played only 72 snaps total in 2021 because he dealt with that ankle injury, which also went to him not playing as many games also. In terms of where I think he excels, his size, his speed, it's hard to stop a guy like that. I think that he shows a lot of potential in terms of being explosive. Um, I think that he isn't necessarily someone you should expect a lot from this season. I think that he's somebody that maybe takes over in 2024. I think you still have to give him fair amount of snaps this year. You can't just give him 10% or lower. You got to give him, maybe 30%, 40% maybe of defensive snaps this year. You got to give him a chance. You got to help him develop 100%. But I think that again, he is more of a project. And while Uche, while Judon is still here, he's not going to come in white by any means and take that job for any of these guys year one. So overall, that is going to kind of be my analysis here on Keion White. Like I said, a little bit more of a surprising pick, but still not a bad pick at all. Just a good pick. A good pick. I'm not jumping out of my seat. It's not Christian Gonzalez type of feelings here from me where we were all stoked there on the live channel. But again, something that maybe a year from now we're talking about making an actual impact for the Patriots. But what are your guys' thoughts on this move? Is there anything about him that I didn't say that you guys actually really liked when doing your due diligence on him? Of course, if there's anything that you really like about this guy, or really don't like about this guy, I want to hear it in the comment section below. So make sure to comment in the comment section below, like this video, and of course, subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. I do appreciate you guys for watching, like always, and never forget, go Pats.